Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I want you to hear me and hear me clearly. Never be sad, because God is the one who makes things better. See, the problem is not your pain. The problem is not your past. The problem is not your process. The problem is your perspective. You've been looking at the storm instead of the one who controls the wind and the waves. You've been counting your problems, but you forgot to count your provider. You've been crying over what you lost, but God is preparing you for what you're about to gain. Don't you understand? Setbacks are setups. Delays are not denials. What looked like rejection was actually divine redirection. That closed door, God didn't shut it to hurt you. He shut it to protect you from something you couldn't see. Sadness is something we all encounter. But often, what causes that sadness to linger and take root isn't the situation itself. It's how we view the situation. Pain, heartbreak, failure. These things are real, but they don't have the power to define us unless we give them that power. And what gives them that power is our perspective. You see, it's not the weight of the burden that breaks you down. It's how you carry it. Two people can go through the same storm and come out with completely different stories. Why? Because one looked at the storm while the other looked at the one who controls it. When you focus on your problems, they get magnified. They look bigger, louder, scarier. And before you know it, you're overwhelmed, anxious, and paralyzed by the what ifs. But if you lift your eyes and focus on your source, on God, the one who holds all things together, you'll begin to see that the problem was never really the problem. It was your perspective on the problem that made it seem insurmountable. That's why some people lose everything and still find peace, while others have everything and still feel lost. Your thoughts shape your reality. If you think God has forgotten you, you'll walk around like you're abandoned. If you think your situation is hopeless, you'll stop expecting change. But if you begin to see your pain through the lens of purpose, your trial through the lens of transformation, your loss through the lens of growth, then sadness doesn't get to stay because you understand something deeper. God doesn't waste pain. He uses it. Sometimes sadness comes because we expected life to follow a script we wrote. But when life doesn't follow our plans, we feel like something's gone wrong. Yet, it's often in those unscripted moments where God is doing his best work. Maybe he allowed something to fall apart so he could build something stronger. Maybe he let you walk through the valley so you'd learn how to trust him in the dark. Maybe the door that closed wasn't punishment, but protection. And if you really believe that God is who he says he is, faithful, good, all-knowing, all-loving, then even when life hurts, even when it confuses you, you can hold on. You can say, I don't get it yet, but I trust that God does. That shift in perspective is powerful. It's a difference between defeat and destiny. Because when you stop staring at the problem and start focusing on the promise, you begin to walk in peace, not panic, in faith, not fear. So it's not about denying your emotions or pretending you're not sad. It's about refusing to let that sadness become your home. It's about recognizing that while you may be in the fire, God is in there with you, and he's working something beautiful out of the ashes. The situation may not change overnight, but when your perspective changes, your life starts to follow. We often see setbacks as signs of failure, as indicators that we're off course or somehow not good enough. But what if the very thing you're calling a setback is actually the thing God is using to set you up for something greater? What if the delay you're frustrated with is really divine alignment in progress? Sometimes the thing we think is a stumbling block is actually a stepping stone. What you thought was holding you back might be the very thing God is using to launch you forward. It's easy to feel discouraged when life doesn't go the way we planned. You applied for the job and didn't get it. You started the business and it fell through. You gave your heart to someone and they broke it. In the moment, it feels like everything is falling apart. But from God's perspective, things are falling into place. He's not reacting to your situation. He's orchestrating it. He saw the end from the beginning. So when a door closes, it's not because he forgot about you. It's because he's protecting you or preparing something better for you. That rejection was redirection. That loss was positioning. That delay was preparation. God operates on a different timeline. While we're trying to rush into our future, he's working on our foundation. Because he knows if you step into something too early before you're ready, the blessing can crush you instead of build you. So he allows the setback. Not to break you, but to shape you. It's in the waiting, the struggle, and the stretching where your character is forged. And once your character catches up with your calling, that's when the breakthrough comes. Look through scripture and you'll see this pattern over and over. Joseph was thrown into a pit and sold as a slave, but that was the setup to put him in position to lead a nation. David was overlooked by everyone, hunted by a jealous king, and spent years in caves before he wore the crown God had promised him. Jesus himself was rejected, betrayed, beaten, and crucified. But it was all part of the plan for the greatest victory the world has ever seen. So what makes you think your story is any different? The pain isn't pointless. The setback isn't the end, it's the setup. When you understand this, you stop complaining about the delays and start preparing for what's coming. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start declaring that God must be getting ready to do something big through me. Because when God sets you up, no one can block it, not the enemy. Not your past, not your circumstances, and certainly not a temporary setback. So don't fold under pressure. Don't give up in the dip. Keep showing up, keep trusting, and keep moving forward. Because the place you're crying in today might be the same place you're testifying from tomorrow. The very thing that tried to stop you will one day be the proof that God was setting you up all along. Sadness is a natural emotion. Life will hit you with disappointments, setbacks, and unexpected losses. And in those moments, it's okay to feel the weight of it. But there's a difference between feeling sadness and allowing it to become your identity. There's a difference between mourning a moment and making that moment your permanent mindset. You see, many people get so familiar with pain that they begin to accept it as their portion. They build their life around disappointment. They build walls not to protect themselves, but to keep out hope. But you were never created to live in sadness. You were created to live in purpose with peace, joy, and power. Yes, you may have gone through something painful. Maybe someone betrayed you. Maybe something you worked hard for fell apart. Maybe you lost something that meant the world to you. But the fact that you're still here means God's not done. So why would you give permanent energy to a temporary situation? That valley you're in, it's a pass-through, not a destination. You're not supposed to stay there. You're supposed to come out stronger, wiser, more faithful, more grounded, and more focused than before. What happens to many people is they make sadness a safe place because it's familiar, because joy feels risky, because hope means you might get let down again. But the truth is, refusing to hope doesn't protect you. It paralyzes you. Closed doors remind you that you're not in control, and that's a good thing because you're not just being led by your feelings. You're being led by a faithful Father who knows the full picture. So instead of mourning every closed door, start thanking God for the ones He didn't let open. Because if you could see what He sees, you wouldn't want it either. That rejection wasn't the end of your story. It was the start of something better, something safer, something aligned with your destiny. Trust the closure. It's making space for the right door to open. The truth is simple, yet profound. God is not finished with you if you're still breathing, if you're still standing, if you're still waking up each day with purpose in your heart, then God is still working in your life. You might be in the middle of a storm right now, but storms don't last forever, and neither does this season you're facing. You might be experiencing heartbreak, loss, or frustration, but God is still in control, and He is still on your side. It's easy to feel like God has forgotten you when things aren't going the way you expected. It's easy to think He's left you stranded or abandoned you when your dreams seem far out of reach. But the reality is, God is always working even when you can't see it. He's in the waiting, He's in the struggle, and He's in the unseen spaces of your life. When things feel like they're falling apart, He's building a foundation for something greater. And when you feel like you're lost, He's guiding you to a destination that is far better than you ever imagined. The key here is trust. Trust that God's plans for you are bigger than your setbacks, that His timeline is perfect, and that His purpose for you is greater than your understanding. Even if you don't see the whole picture, even if the path ahead seems unclear, trust that God is doing something behind the scenes. You may not understand why things are happening the way they are right now, but that doesn't mean God isn't working. You might be asking, why this? Why now? Why me? But God's answer is simple. He's preparing you for something more, something bigger, something that you are not yet ready to receive. The delay is not a denial, it's a divine preparation for what's to come. You may feel like you're stuck or that your best days are behind you, but that's not the truth. Your best days are ahead of you, and God is orchestrating every part of your life to lead you into that future. The setbacks you're facing right now are setting you up for a comeback. The pain you're experiencing is preparing you for a breakthrough. The things that have hurt you are shaping you into the person you need to become to step into the purpose God has designed for you. Remember that God's timing is perfect, and what seems like a delay is often just His way of getting you ready. Just like a plant needs time to grow before it bears fruit, your life needs time to develop before it fully blossoms into the purpose God has for you. And the waiting period isn't wasted. God is teaching you patience, resilience, faith, and trust in the process. You're being equipped with the tools you need for the future, even if you don't understand it now. So, when things seem tough and you feel like giving up, remind yourself, God is not finished with you. His plan for your life is unfolding step by step, and even the hardest moments are working together for your good. No matter how impossible it feels right now, know that He's preparing you for something far greater than you could ever imagine. When life doesn't go the way we want it to, it's easy to get discouraged. We start to wonder if we'll ever see better days. We question if things will ever improve, if we'll ever reach the goals we've set, or if we'll ever experience the joy, peace, and success we've been hoping for. But here's the truth. Your best days are not behind you. They are ahead of you. And no matter what's happening in your life right now, you can expect greater things to come. The reality is that when we focus too much on our current circumstances, we can lose sight of the bigger picture. We can get stuck in the past, dwelling on mistakes, disappointments, and unfulfilled dreams. But that's not where your story ends. If you still have breath in your lungs, if you're still able to wake up and pursue your purpose, then your future is still unfolding. The setbacks you face, the failures, the delays, these are not permanent. They are simply part of the journey, and they are preparing you for what's ahead. Think about it. Every great story has moments of struggle, conflict, and challenge. But those moments don't define the story. They are what shape the hero into the person they need to become to face the final victory. Your story is no different. The things you've been through, the battles you fought, the hardships you've endured, those are not the end. They are the training ground for the greater purpose God has for you. You are being prepared for something bigger than you can imagine. God doesn't waste anything. Every tear you've cried, every hardship you've faced, every obstacle you've overcome is being used to refine you and shape you into someone who can handle the blessings that are coming your way. You may not see it right now, but your pain is not in vain. It's part of the process that will lead you to a place where you can look back and say, I am stronger because of what I went through. And when you reach that point, you'll realize that those tough times were what made you ready for the next level. Expecting greater doesn't mean you ignore the present struggles, but it means you choose to look beyond them. It means you choose to focus on the promises of God rather than the problems of today. It means you stand firm in the belief that no matter how hard things are right now, they are not permanent and better days are coming. You can expect greater things in your health, your relationships, your finances, and your future. Because God is a God of abundance and He delights in blessing His children with more than they could ask or imagine. This doesn't mean you won't have to work for it, and it doesn't mean the road will be easy. But it does mean that no matter how difficult the journey, you can walk through it with hope and anticipation. Your best days are ahead of you because God is preparing you for them, and He has already gone before you to clear the path. You are on the brink of something extraordinary, something that will surpass everything you've experienced so far. Keep believing, keep expecting, and keep moving forward. Because the best is truly yet to come.